playing for. Now, again, if you can't tell, my voice sounds a bit different. I have a cold, and because of that, can I get a warm welcome for my co-caster today, Karlberg from Sweden, who stepped up to the challenge of casting for the very first time a pro match. He's never casted before, but he wanted to help out with this one, and I think we're gonna have a wonderful time today. So some pogs in chat, some love for Karlberg. I'm gonna give him a call here, see if we can get a hold of him.
Hello there.
Hello, Karlberg. How are you doing, man?
Oh man, I'm nervous. I'm not gonna lie.
That's honesty is the best policy for sure.
You're gonna have a good time.
Yeah. So yeah, as I said to chat, you've never casted a pro match before, but I mean, you have casted some pretty prestigious Karls of the Berg, right?
Oh, he's, yeah, King of the Berg.
King of the Berg, actually. Oh, I got the name wrong.
The most prestigious tournament in Trackmania.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah, it's like slightly above Grand League, but Grand League's pretty cool too, though. No, it's like,
yeah, Grand League is up there, but it's not quite at King of the Burger, you know.
Yeah, I understand.
It might get there. Might get there after this cast, you know.
Oh, definitely, yeah, for sure. But dude, you've been following Grand League just the first 2 steps, watching. What are your impressions so far? We can start with the Challenger League, since that one is the first match we'll take a look at.
I think the Challenger League is super exciting. Actually, it's almost at the level of Grand League, or like the main one, because Mime has shown us what he wants, right? He really wants to get in there. With 676 points, he has a definite lead over all the players, basically. Almost 2 times of Hydra's points of 389.
Yeah. Mime has been incredibly impressive, and he's like, we've compared the winning times from Challenger League and from the Grand League, and Mime is actually getting close to that winning time pace in the Grand League, even though he's in the division below. So it would be really huge to see if Mime can get up to the top stage, because it's always interesting to follow like rookies like this. I mean, think back 1 year, we had Offie and Gwen as rookies into the Grand League, playing the same division, and now they are sort of household names on the pro stage. So very exciting to follow Mime. I'm also very impressed by Otak. He's actually one of the youngest players in Challenger Division at only 16 or 17 years old. And I mean, he's shown that he has the balls of a grown man, if we can say it so bluntly, to go for those 4x, 5x multiplier in the last step.
Oh yeah, as we saw last week, where Otak didn't get his multiplier, unfortunately. What is he gonna? Do you think he's gonna change his strategy this time around, or is he gonna go for the big multipliers again?
I'm actually not sure. I think it depends on his confidence on the new map. It looked like he was very confident on Vertigo, which was the last map then. But Poolside, we don't know if he's that confident. But Vertigo, the map that was played in 2-lap format, where he didn't get the multiplier, he has the 2nd fastest time in the world there of anyone, including Grand League players, just a half a second behind Massa. So Otak's looking very good on Vertigo. On Poolside, we really don't know how it's going to unfold, but I definitely don't think he wants the 2x. I know that much. I think he's going for 3x or higher.
I can agree with you there.
And then we also have, I think, an interesting case is Avon. Avon, who dropped out of the Grand League last season, sadly, after being eliminated in a 1v1 match with Scrappy. But he is also showing up pretty huge consistency in the first few maps, but we've yet to see him like really run away with a big multiplier.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. Avon with 279 points right now. He Does he have a time on the multiplier map right now? I don't think I see him. He's also practicing offline for the multiplier.
Yes, because this is something we've noticed.
Yeah.
That not a lot of players have posted their times publicly on the new track. And we're on the server right now. They're actually about to begin. We're only 5 minutes away from match start. And we don't really see a lot of times from any of these players. on the public leaderboards. So do you expect that we'll see something new here, Karlberg, tonight?
I mean, I'd hope so. With so much, if they're hiding it this much, we barely see any players on the leaderboard, and surely there's something going on, right?
You'd think, because we've had this. I remember this specifically from fall season last year. We had a map where there were almost no public times, and it ended up being a completely new line in an ice turn on the map that some players brought out, and they were able to instantly win, basically, because it saved about half a second per lap. So if there's some huge discovery like that, maybe a lot of players have stumbled upon it. Maybe not. Maybe there's just more of a culture now to hide their times in general.
Maybe there's something with the water. You know, water is a new mechanic. Not a lot of players are really comfortable with it yet, at least not me. And that map has some water sections like the no slide turn in the end, the identity. We have to dip into the water 3 times, and also in the in the middle of the track. I'm not sure. I guess we'll have to find out.
Yeah, water is very interesting in that aspect, because you have so little grip. It is very beneficial to keep the car from sliding, to prevent it from sliding. But if you steer a little too much coming out of these water parts, especially this next turn here, from the perspective of Cap right now, if you end up in a slide here, then it will cost you a lot of time. So they're trying to avoid that slide right there. And then in the ending here, in the identity, they do 3 water turns here. A lot of players are looking for about 160 speed before they dive down underwater in each turn. And they're trying to avoid the car from sliding in the exit, or else they will lose control of the car.
Yeah, we saw in the showcase of the map that Gwen actually got a little bit of a slide in the second pull dip.
Yeah,
And,
barely kept the grip
that
there.
cost him a little bit of...
And then from the perspective of Cap here as well, one thing you'll notice is these first 2 turns, he goes very deep in the water. But then in the last one, he tends to, towards the outside of the turn, perhaps to carry more speed into the lap. Because if you don't know, the more you're underwater, the less you're able to accelerate. So here, staying on the outside a little bit gets you more speed if you can survive the turn. And let's take a look at how Otak handles this here in the warm-up. The young Frenchman perhaps looking for a big multiplier. Yeah, you can see the speed here just on this demonstration. Now, if we take a look at the overall league standings here, you know, the field is becoming very stretched out, Karlberg. We have pretty huge gaps, as you mentioned, Mime almost 300 points ahead of Hedda in second. But there are some players like near the bottom here that we've yet to see a lot from, especially Revolution. Zofalt has been pretty unlucky with the multipliers, and Nixotica and Snow as well down there, I think without any multipliers so far.
Yeah, maybe they have stepped up their game in the training now that we have a bit of an easier map, so to speak. Like, this identity is way more forgiving than any other map, at least from the viewing standpoint, right? And also the technical aspect. Most of the maps that we've seen are kind of speedy, so maybe Nixotica and Revolution shine on this new one.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Revolution, I think he's just been struggling with motivation and also with getting enough time to practice, but he is one of the most competent and experienced Trackmania players, actually. Was in the original season of Grand League, I believe, in the German slot, or maybe it was Dexter. But he's been around for a long time, has gotten far into the Zerator Cup. Revolution is very experienced in this game, and if he has enough time to practice, he can show up huge on a day like this. But ladies and gentlemen, we are about to begin here. 14 seconds left until the challenger match here in Trackmania Grand League Step 3 starts. So get some hype here in the chat for the players and also for our co-caster Karlberg, who is joining us for his first Trackmania Grand League match. Let's go.
Thank you, chat. I need it. Give me your energy.
Energy shall be given. We are going on to the first map here, Karlberg, which is Burialistic. What can you tell us about this one?
Burialistic by Banano. It's a bit of a interesting one. There's a lot of RPG tricks where you want to, for example, plastic bounces into half-pipe jumps. It's sort of a granady styled map, right? As we can see on the times. But where he has been consistent in the top 3 in his steps. Of course, now this is the Challenger series where Otak got a 6:47.99 in the first step, and then also Mime with a 6:47 in step 2. So, but Evon has also been in the top 3 in both of the steps.
Yeah, Evon is actually a player to look out for here. He's gotten 3rd both times this map's been played in the past, but he has one of the fastest personal bests here out of anyone. I think he's 3rd in the world right now with a 6.
Third?
Yeah, with a 6:42. So Evon is a great player on this track, and he has yet to sort of get that 25 pointer. So looking to see how he can perform. We know Mime is strong. We know Otak is one of the fastest players on this as well, but it's very hard to be consistent, as you said, because this map does have a lot of obstacle parts, like these RPG elements, plastic bounces, wall ride flips, you name it. This map's pretty crazy in that way.
Yeah, it's a very wicked map, so to speak.
Yeah, and one respawn can cost you everything. So it's a lot about just staying in your comfort zone, not trying to get overzealous, not trying to push too much, and just trying to survive really more than anything.
Agreed. As we enter the first round of TMJLC here.
Let's go with the perspective of Evon on the first plastic bounce. A lot can happen already here if you don't make it to the quarter pipe. Let's see if our field makes it. Sometimes we've seen mistakes here, and it looks like Nexotica has made a huge...
Nexotica has the respawn there. He's gonna lose about 5 seconds, maybe even more because of the speed. It's quite tight in the top. We see Fegli and Wosile in the lead here as we enter the grass section. We wanna speed slide a little bit, and Revolution has fallen a bit behind, 0.4 behind. Let's see as we get the reactor.
Now we're coming up to the very interesting part. There's 3 lines here that the players go for. Some go to the right for the booster, some go on the ice here and jump short, and some jump very far. And these lines all kind of balance out, but traditionally the short ice jump is the fastest one. But we saw Otak use the booster, and he's up in first right now, so has been able to make that work, and Otak will claim the first spot into the second lap here of Burialistic.
So we see Cap has fallen behind together with Soldier, Miquatro, and Link, also in together with the Nexotica here in the bottom 8. You want to stay in the top 8 as the points really starts to hurt in the bottom, where you lose. How much is it? So
it's 15 points if you get 8th place, and then it's 5 if you get 9th. So that's why you have this split on the scoreboard there. Very important that you stay top 8. Because if you're like Rossi here, you are 0.2 of a second away from 10 more points. That is how decisive it can be. And Rossi here has actually, this week, I believe, just parted ways with Loud Esports as his org. And if you look at the name tags here by the players, you can see a lot of these org name tags. And these are players that don't have an org that they're signed to yet. So really big opportunity for them to use this stage, this opportunity to show that, you know, they can prove their worth to a team and get a spot by someone. Because Avon here, for example, is on a roll. Somebody signed this man because he's going very fast up front, as we expected.
Indeed, Evon, the TMGL player last season, is in front together with Mime. Mime, of course, has a very great time on this map, and we've seen him the last 2 steps as well. He is super consistent. Revolution is in last with 19 seconds to go. Looks to be a very consistent top spots here for Mime together with Default, Rossi.
And like, as you said, yeah, Mime. The interesting thing about Mime here is, wait, oh, Evon dropping down the scoreboard. What happened here?
No!
That's a huge respawn, and you can see here, he went from 1st to 10th. Down to 13th, what's going on? Oh, disaster for Evon. As he,
that is terrible.
No.
Here we can see how punishing this map really is. One mistake can...
hold that thought, because Mime has a terrible
Mime as
respawn.
well.
Yeah, terrible respawn here from Mime. And the two Polish players who were top 2 are going to drop down the scoreboard here in the final time that this track is actually played on the map pack. Next weekend it will be out, and we talked a lot about how this was Evon's map. It was one of his best, but he will not get a stellar performance the last time it's seen. It is actually Wirtual and Energized now, climbing up into the top 3 positions together with Rossi, who's yet to make a single mistake in this race. And also a very positive surprise here with Fegli, who's in his first season ever of Challengers. And he got a big multiplier last week, and now he's in 4th year in the first map, but oh no.
He has a respawn.
Caster's curse coming through.
Caster's curse indeed. A lot of stuff happening on this map right now. We have Wirtual in 2nd place. Last step, he was not too happy about his 2x multiplier. He was going to go for the 3x or more. That's what he said when I talked to him. He is looking great right now. If you want to gather as much points as possible so that you could multiply 1 point, could essentially be 5 points if you're going for the high ones.
I think looking at this is actually one of the most mistake-heavy races we've seen, because there's a 10-second gap right now from 1st down to 8th place, and a lot can still happen between these players. There's a huge battle right now for that oh so important 8th place. That currently it's Link who holds it, but you can see there's 3 fast players here on the chase, that being Snow, Otak, and Mime, who all really have a great personal best on this map, and they want to get up there, but one mistake could still send them further down. As we go into the last lap now, it is still Rossi in the lead. Energized very close to follow, only a second between the two, and I think it will be between those two for the map win here.
Indeed, Link 0.6 from the top 8 here, but Mime with a 10-second gap from Rossi, who's in 1st. It looks like we have to see a mistake from either player in the top 8 for Mime to climb up.
Mime actually got it.
No!
Yeah, Snow dropped. So Mime got up there for now.
Mime actually got that.
And it is now Link and Snow to battle for that spot, but let's turn our attention forward here. 10 seconds up front into the race. It's Rossi versus Energized in the last part of the map here. 2 more wall ride flips to go for Rossi from Croatia to win this map here in the 6 lap format. 1 more on the freewheeling. Can Energize do something, or will it be Rossi cruising in? That looks to be Rossi's map. 25 points for him with a 6:48 winning time. And now let's see this battle for the 8th spot as Otak has dropped down. This should be all clean for Link to secure the 8th place spot, or should it? Oh, overtakes Default in the ending, but Default will get that. So you have Rossi 1st, Energize 2nd, Wirtual 3rd, McQuattro in 4th, Hedra, Mime, Link, and Default secure the big points. And then Evon, Otak, Exotica, Soldier, Snow, Cap, Fegli, and Revolution to round out this first map.
Yeah, this was not the closest race we've ever seen in the Challenger series. Almost a minute gap from the 1st place to the last place. That is...
that's pretty big. You know, we hope to see like the level get increasingly higher and higher. We saw 6:47 winning times both the first times that map was played. 6:48 now, okay, but a lot more mistakes than we'd hope to see, but luckily Karlberg, we're going onto a map now on the edge, which is a lot more pace-based. There's not a lot of hard elements to this track. There's only the precision identity, where at the end of the track here, you have to drive past these circles in these tiny gaps, and it's going to be a very close technical fight here more than anything else.
Indeed, on the edge by Popoet, we saw Miquatro actually getting a 7:03 in both steps, so he is the man to look out for here. We also saw Cap and Otak closely behind. Cap with a 7:04.35 and Otak with a 7:05.38. So a bit closer times on this map. Hopefully we will get a bit closer race this time around as well.
Yeah, and you mentioned the times they're driving here. For context, the world record right now is a 6:58 by Massa, so winning times of 7:03, 7:02, that area by Miquatro. He's won this both times, probably looking for the hat trick here on the edge, but they're driving extremely close to the world record, only losing about, well, less than a second per lap to that pace. So really, really impressive if they're able to keep that here. But as you'll see, this section, the identity, is the most important. You have so little space to work with, but it's raw skill. There's nothing random about this. You just gotta aim the car into that gap. Yeah. And if you're able to do that 3 times per lap for 18 times in total without mistake, then you will get a lot of points here.
The spectating Mime in the warm-up here. 4 seconds to go. Let's see. Starting on the edge, Popoet. We have Mime's perspective here. There's actually a different strategy here in the start. So we might see some people was watching Massa's world record was actually slowing down, taking the left path on the dirt instead of taking the jump in the start. So and that was a pretty recent world record by him. So maybe some people have caught on to that strategy. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, new strategies still being developed on these maps, and 6:58 is the benchmark to try to beat right now. So far, all the players did get through the start here. We see tech specialist Link up in first, has his origins in this style right here. A lot about drifting and getting your car weaving through the track almost like a dance. But now coming up to the identity for the first time. How many players will survive this one? Let's have a look from the back here.
Let's have a look. The identity where precision matters the most. People are going to neo slide their way through. And we have a mistake from Soldier. He's gonna fall behind by about 4 or 5 seconds. That is not good for him. Soldier with a 7:05 in step 1, actually. And that was second position. We're probably not gonna see that from him this time, as mistakes are huge here.
Yeah, about a 2.5 second loss there. We see the Belgians, the 2 Belgian players, Dolphins and Soldier, both dropping down, but still 2.5 seconds here. If you can drive good pace for the rest of the race, the remaining 5 laps, he could still make a comeback here, but it's very hard if you make an early mistake like that to not tilt and to keep your head in the game and focus on the remaining laps, because they put so much practice in to try to make this work. And then when they're on the stage in the live race, they make a mistake.
Ooh, and have a mistake from Evan there.
Evan dropping down into 14th before the identity. Very low speed here. Let's see how we adapt to that. Just gonna try to full speed it. Will anyone else make a mistake here? Big respawn from Dofault.
Big respawn. Dofault dropping down 13, 14, 15. Together with Revolution in the bottom 2. But we have a close race up top. We have Miquatro, Link, Wosile and Razi. Only about 1 second between each other. Miquatro has a bit of a lead though. So come up to this very tight 180 turn.
Razi to wall.
Oh, Razi touching the corner there. It's gonna drop down to 6th place.
Losing ground to the others here, but what a showing from Miquatro here in the opening stages of On the Edge. He won this map in step 1, he won it in step 2. He's looking for the 3rd right now. Really dominant on this track here. And if you have a map that you're so good on, like this one, and you're able to show up when it matters, that's huge for his overall scoreline. He started with 19 points, 25 more, and he has a respectable score that he can multiply later, but nothing's
As we
done
enter the intensity
yet.
here, are we gonna see any mistakes? Miquatro is clean, and so is Link. Who was that? Razi makes a mistake, and he's gonna drop down to about 10th. He's going for the safe route there as we enter lap 4. And we see a little bit of switching in the positions here.
But we mentioned this.
Miquatro still in the lead.
Yeah, we mentioned this earlier. Solja, he made that early mistake, went down to 14th place, but ever since he's actually been gaining on the leader, Miquatro. He's been driving faster, and he's now up into 6th place, almost challenging for top 5 despite that mistake. So Solja is really driving much faster than everyone else, and we might see a full comeback here if he can keep this up.
Yeah, Soldier with a 109 best lapper. And let's see if we can make it happen as he's catching up Link a little bit there in that dirt turn. Miquatro still in top. Wosile lost 1 position there as we enter the identity here, where precision really matters.
First turn all good, second one all good, third one all good, and Solja is gaining even more. He's now up to top 5.
Miquatro actually going for the left for the dirt start strategy there. Did he do that in the other laps as well?
I think the dirt there is if you don't have enough speed for the full speed line, you take the dirt just to be safe. So Miquatro with a mistake actually, and now it is Mime challenging to win this map ahead of Wosile and Otak. But Miquatro is only like 0.6 behind, so with 2 good last laps here, maybe he can make the hat-trick happen. Does need to gain somehow 0.6 against Mime though in just 2 laps.
Yeah, 0.6 against Mime is might not sound like a lot, but Mime is as we saw in the steps before, step 1 and step 2, the guy to look out for with a huge lead in points. As we enter the identity, the first one, he is looking clean. Second one is gonna catch.
Double
and
mistake.
He gets Miquatro there.
2 mistakes by both Otak and Wosile. And look at this, it's actually Solja now up into 3rd. As we go into the last lap, he's passed the entire field in just 5 laps after that first mistake. And he is actually getting a bit closer to Miquatro, but Mime's still up in first. 0.4 is the gap, so Miquatro's gained a little bit, but it's just so difficult to gain more time than that. Substantial gains against Mime in this format is very hard to do. And Mime is looking poised to take the 25 points. Still needs to get past those 3 identity turns though, and not make any other small blunders that allows Miquatro to close this gap. Before we go into the ending now, it's Mime versus Miquatro versus Solja for the top 3.
Miquatro in the lead has to make a mistake for, or Mime in the lead has to make a mistake for Miquatro to catch up, to take those 3 victories in the steps. It looks like Solja has made a mistake. He's gonna get passed by Otak, and Mime wins the 25-pointer, followed by Otak, Miquatro, Otak in 3rd, Solja in 4th, Wosile in 5th, Snow in 6th, Nixotica in 7th, Hydra in 8th, Energized in 9th, Link 10th, Fegli 11th, Cap in 12th, Razi in 13th, and Evon in 14th, Dofalt 15th, followed by, and in last, Revolution in 16th.
Yeah, and looking at how this shakes up the overall settings now, Mime up in first, Miquatro in 2nd so far, and we have to say a bit of a rough start to the step for Avon, who is one of the overall point leaders. So far in the first 2 maps, only 9 points to his name. We'll see now as we go on to the third map. It is Pool Party, built by Histo. What can you tell us about this one, Karlberg?
Pool Party by Histo is definitely a pace map. The identity is 2 blind precision sections, as we can see here on screen right now. When you see this map for the first time, or the identity, it looks to be almost impossible to not drive clean. We saw Kappa in the first step of TMGL crashing in the last lap of the 5x multiplier. So it is definitely devastating.
Yeah,
it can be.
It can be so punishing. We saw it in 2 laps. We saw it in 6 laps as well last week. That time it was Otak winning ahead of Mime and Avon, top 3, with a 7:45 winning time, just 2 seconds behind the world record. So these challenger players are really showing like they can perform. 2 seconds behind world record is really respectable for 6 laps on this. But if we take a look at this section coming up here from Avon's perspective, this is what Karlberg mentioned with the blind precision parts. It's very hard to weave the car through there without crashing. And again, in the ending of the lap, that section is even more precise. So a very difficult map here to survive without mistakes. You really cannot afford to hesitate at all in any of these corners. You have to commit to get the car cleanly through the poles. One small stumble and you will crash and have to respawn.
As we enter the third round here, Pool Party by Histo. We see Snow's perspective. And
yeah, Snow's perspective, as you said, he is one of the players that has not gotten any big multipliers yet. Sort of at the bottom of the Challenger League scoreboard, but this map is actually pretty good for him, and so is Vertigo, where he almost got a multiplier. So 19 points so far could make it huge if he gets these 2 down. But we are looking at Mime, we are looking at Otak, and we are looking at Evon as the favorites here. I think McQuattro, though, showing up huge right now, early on in this lap, in the fight for first. So far, almost no mistakes. It's actually only Otak with a slight blunder here, down in 16th. He is about a second behind, but that is not anything to be too upset about. We saw Soldier with a huge comeback last time.
Mistake from Razi there. He's gonna fall down to the bottom. And but we might see some changes here as we enter the identity. Looks like every player is clean, but we have a mistake. Who was that who fell down there?
Snow dropping down into last.
Falling down.
So all the praise we give, sometimes it's not that useful. It might just be cursing the players, as happened on the previous map. I think Snow now is gonna try to keep himself from making even further mistakes and just take the points he can get. But that also put McQuattro actually out of the fight for first. And now it is once again the 2 Polish players, Avon and Mime, up in top 2.
Indeed, and we also have Cap with 5 points. This would be huge for Cap if he could capitalize on this map here.
Capitalize, I like it. Definitely has a chance here. He did win a multiplier when this was played in a 2-lap format. He was able to beat all the other players in 1 round to secure double his scoreline that time. Now third, just a little bit behind, as I saw a big mistake there by 1 player. I think it was Energized, dropping down in the standings. We're going through the pole section. Oh my god, there's a big respawn and a crash.
Huge mistake from Poolside and Dofalt there, dropping down to 15th place together with Fegley. And Poolside as well.
We also lost
Also
Evon there.
Points.
Big loss. So now Mime followed by Hedra. The big surprise and the very positive surprise in the previous step was Hedra, who had a great step overall, and he cloned Mime straight into the pole.
Making a huge mistake there.
Still 42 points so far, not too much to complain about, but that is how quickly it can change. One small blunder in this pole section and you are gone from the race. But wanted to give compliments here for Hedra's last step. That put him, I think, second in the overall standings, just behind Mime, with 380 points to his name. Now also looking good in this one, but it is actually Solja up into first, and Otak, who was last earlier, now in second place.
As we're getting close to the identity, let's see Otak here. The third lap, looking good so far. No player makes a huge mistake, as we see Evon dropping down some places, but they are all looking clean. Pretty good lap for all players, or pretty good identity.
And like this one, it was looking like a Polish domination. Now it's almost just a French domination here. We have Solja, who is Belgian, so might speak French as well. And then Nixotica here in sixth, who I gotta say is perhaps on his best step so far in the league, with 19 points so far. If he can stay in this top 8 and get another 18, 17 points here, he does have a good scoreline that can try to multiply. So really good showing for Nixotica and North America.
Indeed, Nixotica in with a total of 75 points throughout the first two steps. Let's see, Rossi here. Can he catch up? We have a Link with a plus 06 for the top 8. Has to catch up to Mime as we enter the identity. No major mistakes by any top players. I say that as I say Hydra dropping some places here. It's gonna drop down to 11 with a plus 1. I don't think that was a respawn. It was more like a little bit of a touch, maybe.
Yeah, Mime with a touch there, down to 8th. But Header dropping out lets Link now into the green positions. The players in the top 8 here get up to 25 points, 15 to 25 points. And if you're 9th, you only get 5 points. So very important to stay in these green positions to build up your scoreline. Otak in first, followed by Cap, followed by Solja. With just one lap to go, but Cap, he hits the wall before the full speed part, and he's going to get reeled in here by so many players, as he just has less speed for this entire section. Energize passes him. I think Nixotica is just a car length away from taking that 4th place. So the battle is getting closer as Otak gets a bigger and bigger lead up front versus Solja and second.
Otak, who won the last step, is he gonna win this one again? He has a bit of a lead, 0.5 ahead of Solja here.
And also just paying attention to the splits here, he is actually close to the time that he won with last weekend. That was a 7:45.57, and they are driving about that pace this time as well. So the level has remained as high as it was last time. They are just 2 seconds behind the world record, and Evon with a new best lap there will secure himself 2 points despite being in last with that. So making the most of a bad situation down there. But let's see now, Otak is driving monstrous pace up front. The others are not able to follow. The gaps are increasing. Solja 1 second behind. Cap and the others 2, 3, 4 seconds behind now. But Hedra is just 0.2 from making it into the green and getting those 15 points.
See Hedra, it's Snow versus Hedra versus Revolution here for the top 8 for the green points. As we enter the last turn of the last lap of the pole party. We might have to see a mistake from one of the top players here, but they are all looking clean. Otak gets the victory with a 7:46.53, and Revolution actually getting that green point there.
Yeah, look at the differences. Revolution sniped 8th place by 300ths of a second. And that 300th difference is 10 extra points. So very important for Revolution. I think that's his first top 8 placement in Grand League so far. Going into the step, he had 15 points. And now he got at least 15 more. So that's great for Revolution on map 3 here. But
indeed.
Mime still leading the step, ahead of Otak, ahead of Soldier, as we go to Vertigo, which was the last map in the previous step. Now it is the 4th map, and this track is perhaps one of the most difficult 6th lappers that we will see in Trackmania Grand League. This track is brutal, Karlberg.
Yes, indeed. Vertigo by Pop Wet. We have the Royal features here with a bunch of pipes, and driving 6 laps on this map is gonna be interesting to see what these guys can pull off. We saw last time a lot of huge mistakes, respawn even on the small pipes in the middle of the map.
Yeah, it's just so punishing.
It's super punishing.
You have to keep the car on the pipe. You have to go fast if you want to win. And if you make the slightest error, if you lose the slightest amount of grip, you will most likely slide off and have to respawn. And it's so difficult that a lot of these players have not completed 6 laps without mistakes. We know the world record here is a 6:12. Otak, who almost got a multiplier, has a 6:13 as his personal best. But the winning time here could be anything from 6:20 to 6:25. Just knowing how difficult it is to not make a mistake on this pipe, you can see in the warm-up just how brutal it is.
Indeed, playing this map is in time attack is nothing like playing it in rounds, where you have to be consistent. You can't really just respawn at any time and try again.
And then especially this last pipe is also just one of the most difficult, they say, because of the react booster. Where you can see here, the car, if you go off, it will start flying. So if you lose grip with the pipe, you are going airborne and there is nothing you can do to get back. So that last pipe of the lap is especially tricky.
Indeed, as we have 5 seconds left here of the warm-up. The players we want to look out for here is definitely Otak, who missed out on his multiplier last step. See if he can redeem himself by getting us first place.
Yeah,
he seems to be very confident on this one.
Yeah, and next to Otak we also have Snow, who was very consistently fast here. Default as well, one of the best. And then of course Mime and Hedra, some of the big winners of the last step on this map, are names to keep in mind as we go across the first pipe here. This one is not too bad, but the next one is where things might start to happen. So let's already see from the back here how many players will keep their car on the pipe. Oh, Rossi, Avon and Quattro all off. Snow goes off. Nixotica goes off as well. We've lost at least 5 players on the first pipe of the first lap, and there are 6 more laps to go. This is gonna get crazy.
That was only the first lap, and we already have 7 huge mistakes here.
Mime goes off.
And even more Mime goes off.
Oh, it is disaster here in the first lap.
That was only the first one, and we have 5 more laps to go. We have Wosile in the top, leading this this map right now. Wosile, who was very disappointed over his 2x multiplier in the last step, wants to redeem himself here.
We expected this map to be very difficult, as we said, but this really just goes to show we are watching some of the best players in the world, and they are really struggling to keep their car on because of how precise it is. And now lap 2 on this turnpipe, how much do they dare to risk? We saw, Hedra struggling.
Not enough Hedra. He's gonna have to respawn there.
And he goes off.
Down to 8th place, even more.
We saw the first lap pace here be about 1 second slower than the pace they were driving last week in 2-lap format. So they are trying to save. They are not trying to risk, but just a bit of nerves and you go off. but it is Wosile and Otak in the top 2, followed by a field of players here that have all made one small mistake. Default, Soldier, Energized, and Cap in a very close fight, and then the gaps get really huge. Down to 7th, we have Link, followed by Miquatro, and then Avon Hedra, also 7 seconds behind here.
Indeed. Oh man, Wosile and Otak, the only players who didn't make a very huge mistake. It seems to be that going for a safer approach is paying off here for these players as...
oh no!
As Wosile makes a mistake and he's gonna fall off! The hazard curse is real there.
And Default has failed too. Default with another mistake. It is now Cap up in second, followed by Energized. And Otak, he's in clear first right now, but I don't think we'll see any DNFs this time with the 6-lap format. He's going to hope to survive with this lead, as everyone else, except for him, has made a mistake. He's the only clean player. And a bit of the tragedy of this is once you start making mistakes, it's very hard to stop the bleeding. We saw one mistake from Mime earlier, but now he is 22 seconds behind. And that is how quickly it can snowball. If you lose your mental on this map, and you keep making mistakes, you will just drop further and further. So it is actually going to be close, because these players all have just one mistake to their name, and if anyone slips up again, this could quickly switch up once more in the standings.
Indeed, we have about 3 players, Cap, Soldier, and Energize on +3, +4. If Otak makes a mistake, then they could quickly catch up. And I think he knows though.
It actually looks like Wosile here is catching up to Energized and Soldier. Look at the speed he kept in that middle section.
Whoa.
Just gonna glide up into 3rd almost, but Energized defends that position really well as they go up the final pipe. The reactor booster do not want to lose grip here at any point. And Otak! Oh no!
Otak makes a mistake.
I was about to say, where did he go? Cap with a crash here.
Little bit Cap touching the wall there. We see Wosile going up in first. We have another mistake from Cap.
And suddenly this race is so much closer than it was actually. We had Otak 4-second lead. He respawns, and suddenly we have 4 players now within 1 second of each other, fighting for that first place with just 2 laps to go, Karlberg. Let's follow the pipe here on the turn.
We entered most damage.
Might happen.
Anything can happen here.
Oh, Cap, look at the safe. He does not want to fall again.
He knows.
Almost went into parking gear there, Cap, but it's better than falling. And he is very aware of what's at stake here. Very different to see that after we saw players just yeet their car across in the 2 laps, but oh,
we have a Wosile flying off. He's actually gonna drop down to 8th place. Oh, that is very sad to see. Energize in the lead though. Let's see. It's very close between Energize and Otak here as we enter the last lap. Who is super close? And we see a +04 for Default versus Wosile there. Wosile made a mistake.
And actually a huge comeback here from Avon to go up into 3rd after that first pipe mistake in the first lap. He has not made any further mistakes, and he's actually in a podium position, fighting with the others. Last turn pipe here. Top 3 make it. Will Soldier follow in 4th? Yes, he will. Now let's follow them into the ending section. See what will happen. Energized just trailing a little behind Otak before the sharp 180 turn here. Otak still ahead. 1 more to go. The reactor booster pipe.
Energized is looking for it.
But it will not be enough. Otak wins.
Otak.
6:26 winning time. Who's going to get the top 8? It will be Default.
Oh.
As Wosile failed the
makes another
pipe.
mistake.
Yeah.
Goes for the green points there. Doesn't quite get it.
So we expected them to be slower than the world record, of course, but this is 14 seconds behind the world record by Massa. So it really shows just how difficult this is to drive consistently without mistakes. 6:26 winning time. That's gonna probably be very interesting for the Grand League players who are gonna play later tonight knowing how this looks in a match format. Otak leading the league right now, ahead of Energized and Solja, as we go into the final map of the step, Karlberg, which is Poolside by Kaisla.
Poolside by Kaisla, a technical transitional map, seemingly one of the easier maps. We saw this one before we started the step here. We know that raw pace is gonna be the deciding factor here. I don't think we're gonna see as many mistakes as we saw on Vertigo. Here we can see the identity where you want to dip your car 3 times into the water. You don't want to slide, as that would cost you a lot of time. Also, when you go deeper into water, your car is actually slower.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
It's slower, and also one thing about water physics is once your wheels become wet, the water wears off percentage-wise. So if you dip all the way into the water, your wheels are 100% wet, and it takes a long time for them to get dry. But if you just barely touch the pool, then you get less water on your tires, and you have a higher range of steering to keep your car with full grip. So one thing you're going to notice here is that in this first water part, you're going to see players intentionally try to take as little water as possible. And this lets them do that next turn without drifting. So watch out here. This is the first water part. Players dive in as late as possible to get as little water as they can. And then they're able to do a jump and drift here while having full traction. Now we see the water line still, and we don't know what players have been cooking up here. Looks to be a mixture of going tight and then wide in the last one to maintain speed. Mine with the best warm-up out of everyone.
Yeah, you definitely want to get the nose slide there in the last one to get as much speed as possible by going wide.
But one thing we had a lot of hype for was like any hidden lines, you know, something that they have been working on. And I actually saw, I believe, Default in the warm-up do one of them. So let's have a look at his perspective here and see what he might do, as we think we had one player not starting at the start here. Looks like Link with a late start. 2 seconds behind right off the bat. Bit unfortunate, don't know what happened there. But let's take a look at Default to see if we can spot this line. Ooh. Very shaky here. But the line that I saw is coming up right after this dirt turn, where Default went sharply down to the left to get the oh, it was snow. Yes, snow there. With the triangle through the checkpoint to get more speed across the grass. You know, that might save a 1/10 of a second, but across 6 laps, that's almost a second saved. And across 2 laps, well, it's not as much, but might be worth it. An intentional drift here by the players.
Not going for the nose slide. That is a very interesting strategy. As we enter the identity here, Otat going really tight, but it's gonna be neck and neck with Mime here.
Oh, it's actually dead even. Only less than 100th between the two. And they are only driving 2 laps here. It is a 2-lap battle. So the winner of this one will get to double their points. Now we know both Mime and Otak love these high multipliers. Otak threw some rounds to get a better multiplier last time. The Mime has only been getting 4x or 3x. So will they maybe intentionally lose this one, or will they just take the 2x? Who knows? We'll see here. They are coming up to the ending of lap number 2, and only the winner of this lap gets something. The others, you get second. If you get third, it does not matter. Only winning is the goal here. And Rossi is in a good position to try to snipe them should they fail the ending.
Otak going out there. Is Mime going for the debate here? Is Rossi might get it?
Rossi's getting close. He is overtaking him across the jump. Carling ahead. Now, Mime with the wide setup. Look at the speed. Mime has a line there, but he slides out. Rossi's still in first. Miquatro trying to snipe it though, but Rossi with more speed will take the first
2x
multiplier. 2x and a great winning time. 2:19.93. As far as we know, that is less than a second away from the world record, which is 2:19 0.25 by Mora. Great start here to the multipliers.
Rossi ending of step 3 with 72 points. Looking at the standings.
Wait, I just realized, Karlberg. Link is going for a high multiplier here. He is starting late on purpose so that he can go for a better multiplier. So he's just starting behind the field to get himself a good practice round with no one in his
basically warming up over here.
Yeah.
Maybe he has something going for him. Maybe it might be an intentional touch there. Who knows? I think we're gonna see him later on with higher multipliers.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, what is he doing? But that makes perfect sense now. So very interesting there that Link wants a high multiplier. Let's see if we can get it. These first 4 rounds, you can get a 2 times multiplier. But in the last 4, you can get 3 times, 3 times, 4 times, and 5 times in the last round. So if you win the last round, you can 5 times your score, which is huge if you get that one. But then, of course, if you don't win that one, then you get no multiplier at all. So there's a risk-reward game. And at the ending of lap 1 here, we see a very close fight between the top 7-8 players, really. This is anyone's game into the second lap.
We see Evan Default followed by Snow and Hydra here. It's a very close battle in the top. Who is going for the 2x multiplier? You never really know until you pass the finish lines, because some of these players might be baiting right here.
They might just be warming up and then wanting a later multiplier. Yeah, for sure. Let's see now Snow how much he can gain with this new line. He found Evan. Makes a mistake, but now Snow might reclaim the lead with this triangle line, because the speed he gets across the grass is better than the others, and he will indeed do so. Snow with 55 points here could make it 110 should he win this ahead of his BS competition teammate Default, who's right next to him into the water. Different lines.
Different approach here. Looks like Snow is gonna have the lead, but Default is actually sticking in there. It's gonna be all up to the identity here. Both of them have basically the same approach. But we see Poolside not getting it. It's gonna be Snow taking the 2x multiplier here.
So close there though, sniping his teammate Default by the 700th of a second. But Snow will double his points, 110, and a very good step from him, who has yet to have gotten a big multiplier. Finally for Snow, he breaks through 110, can lean back now and be very happy with that. As once again, ladies and gentlemen, Link is committing to this late start on purpose to put himself in a position where he can just warm up and wait for these bigger multipliers to happen. So Link is definitely looking hungry for a big one. But we have to wonder, what is Mime thinking here? What is Otak thinking? These players who've been able to go for very high multipliers in the past, where do they pull the trigger and really go all in to try to win?
Yeah, Mime, Hydra, and Otak, both or all three with quite comfortable up there on the leaderboard in the overall standings. Doesn't cost them much to lose out on a multiplier. They might, they can definitely afford to risk it here.
So we see some mistakes in the uphill there, some players losing the grip after the first water part, but this line from Mime,
going for the wide line. Look at that gain.
So this is something that he has been keeping secret. This is something that I have not seen yet, but Mime with that line, a 1:10.75, a new best first lap. And if he can do that into the second one as well, Mime could very realistically here get the confidence booster needed that he knows he has the pace to win one of the last rounds, because he is far ahead of everyone right now. And if you have this pace advantage, you might as well just wait for a 3x at least. You can see different lines, but he's just snowballing further and further ahead of the others.
I think it's gonna be between Energize and Default here, unless Mime wants to go for a 2x multiplier.
Yeah, I'm feeling Mime is gonna throw. I'm feeling it. I'm actually feeling it.
Yeah, that's a doubt for me as well. I don't think Mime is gonna go for this one. Different approaches here. Mime going for the no slide strat, Energize and Default going for the slide. as we enter the identity mime, going for his neo slide strategy.
And it actually gains a lot. Will Mime want this 2 times
Will Mime-
multiplier? Oh, he's gonna take it. He takes it.
Looks like he takes it.
And
So-
ladies and gentlemen, that beats the current world record right now, which was 2:19.25 by Mutta. This is a 2:19.10 by Mime, doubling his scoreline and a new, at least public world record. We don't know what players have off the leaderboards. They might have better times in private, but that is a great winning time for Mime. And I think he just values, you know, consistency at this point. He's leading the league. He has 700 points. Might as well just take 126 here and be done with it.
Yeah, I think he's pretty much safe for the playoffs anyways, right? Over 700 points. That is quite a lot of points. If we compare him to the other players, we see Hydra here, or wait, Hydra making a mistake. Energized in the top with Evon.
And now, of course, Otak. Like, Otak last week, he had a lot of points going into the last map as well. Was not able to multiply. Do you think he would fancy a 2x here if he gets the chance? Or do you think he's going to once again try to step up for that huge multiplier, Karlberg?
I think it would benefit him to take the 2x. In the overall standings, he has 94 points. Getting just a little bit more would put him at sort of a safer position.
Because, like, let's say you commit to going for a high multiplier here and then you fail again. Like, that might really do some damage to your mental. Of course, Otak, one of the youngest players in the league, only 16/17 years old here, so really a young player in the field, and it could be pretty difficult to go for a strategy, practice a lot, and then of course fail at the last hurdle. Now though, he has no players ahead of him. With Evon making a mistake, he is side by side with Soldier fighting for this 2x. So let's see what Otak fancies here. If he wants this, if he's gonna push for this, or if he's gonna wait and bide his time, because Soldier, great position for him with 65 points to multiply. No slide line, and he will be just a car length behind before the identity, Karlberg.
As we enter the identity here, Otak and Soldier. Is Otak gonna want the 2x, or is he gonna go for the risk as he did in the last step? This time we're gonna find out. And he is not gonna go for the 2x. He is gonna risk it again.
Otak,
DNFing in front of the finish line. He is risking it.
the most Chad 17-year-old I've ever seen, to be honest. Last turn, just throws his car off the track and says, you know what? Let's do that later on. Soldier will happily take that though. First place for him, and Soldier gets to double his points up to 130. But now we know that the stakes are getting higher. Link has started trying for real. He has not started late, so both Link and Otak might be in the fighting for real this time. So now it's getting tense. Let's see what happens in the first 3-time multiplier round.
You see Energize here. It's actually really tight. I think most players want this 3x multiplier. At least I wouldn't deny a 3x. But we know from last steps that players like Otak, we have see the different line there through the triangle to gather as much speed as possible.
Yeah, Link also opting for the snow line there in the triangle. Also the no slide up the hill here. We see some players sliding on purpose. The no slide looks faster, but much more difficult to execute. Evon in the lead in the first really big round here, the 3-time multiplier. Wosal though with the outside line there will reclaim first. And the last pool turn, will someone slide out? Hedra losing out on a ton of speed. As we once again see a 1:10 opener here. And there are so many players in the fight for this, Karlberg. 6 players within 0.3 of a second into the second lap here.
Yeah, I think everybody is going for this. We see a mistake there from... what's that?
Wosal Energize are out. And there's now Evon, Zolfault, And Otak, Evon flies out. It's Otak up in first in the 3-time multiplier round. And you have to wonder, Otak, you said no to the 2x, but he said no to the 3x twice last week. Otak in first again. Is he going to take it this time? I would hope.
Oh man,
I'm
this
hoping
guy.
he will, but I'm also hoping he won't, you know? I don't know at this point. The others still very close. Could actually snipe him here. But going into the identity, he is first. He will do the wide setup for the first pool turn. Get a little bit more speed across the straight here. Still in the lead. Dolfall right behind. Could challenge Otak crashing.
It crashes in the last corner. Might be intentional. We don't know. Dolfall though, going for the 3x.
Huge for Dolfall there to win despite Otak's mistake. That one I wasn't able to tell. He didn't make it obvious here if that was due to nerves or on purpose. But knowing Otak and the way he's played, I have to imagine he's waiting for the 4x and 5x here.
As we spectate Vosal here in for the 3x multiplier. Vosal wasn't happy with his multiplier in the last step. Does he want a 3x this time around though? As he gets a little bit of air there on the dirt. Is not gonna get this one this round. Otak in lead again, but crashes into the corner. Is gonna lose out on his chances. Wasn't that huge. We see Miquatra and Link in the lead, followed by Energize as we enter the dirt.
And we know like Link's been biding his time here. Link has been waiting for the 2x rounds to conclude. He wanted at least 3x. He's trying for real now. And he's also followed by Miquatro, who we've seen get consistent 2x multipliers. But Miquatro with a real chance at the 3x now as Link drops down a little bit. Still not really a big mistake in the grand scheme of things. But Miquatro has a real chance at 3x. And with 47 points, that's a big scoreline if he can hold on to it. Still, Otak, as you said, he made a mistake, but it's only 0.4. And if Otak does better lines here throughout the map, maybe he could
Link
challenge.
with a mistake there as well.
It's looking like it's either Miquatro or Otak here in the battle for the winner.
See, Otak has a little bit of a different approach there on the dirt. Goes pretty wide to gather as much speed here in the jump as possible. Miquatro though with a pretty good lead here. It's 0.45 in that checkpoint. Is he gonna go for the 3x multiplier?
I have to imagine you would take it. Like I think any rational person would take it. We've only seen Otak deny it really in both Grand League and Challenger League, but Miquatro still has to defend here. It's only 0.3, and that is not a lot on this water identity. Otak pushing, but he will just instantly retire as he loses the line. And Miquatro, looking very poised to take this, will cruise into the finish. 3 times the points for Miquatro, 220 winning time. And Miquatro very consistent here, getting a multiplier every time, but this is his best result yet.
We see the best lap 108 by Fegli here. That is on pace with the world record right now. We saw
Did you see the car? Yeah. There's someone. Oh my god. No shot. Link is waiting out the 4-time multiplier round. He's throwing it all at the 5x. But I think Otak and the others are taking this seriously.
Energize also with a respawn.
Oh, but you wouldn't believe.
Mistake.
Otak failed, Evon failed, Wosile failed in the 4 times. It's going to be such a big battle for the 5x later on, as all these players will want it. But now, a very close fight between only a few players to quadruple their scoreline. Hedra, 39 points times 4 is a big total. Same for Nixotica here on one of his best Grand League steps ever. 41 points before any multipliers. Great opportunities here for these players with the favorites out of the fight.
Hydra with a little bit of lead goes for the inside line. It's really close here in the top. Hydra, Fegli, Cap, and Exotica.
Hydra hit the wall. Hydra's out of it.
goes out of it. It's gonna be 3 players left, Fegli, Cap, and Exotica.
It's actually only 3 players.
4x. Yeah.
It's a 3-way battle. 2 Americans, Exotica and Fegli, versus Cap, and Fegli drops.
But we have a mistake from Fegli there. It's gonna be Cap or Exotica taking this 4x. This could be huge for either players as they have 41 and 42 points.
Oh, Cap
but Cap gets a lot of air there. He's gonna lose out on 0.3 about Exotica.
Oh, you can feel the nerves on the players here. There's more mistakes than ever. And Exotica is the only player who's been able to drive mistake-free so far. Could this be the step for an Exotica? He's been waiting in the first 2, not getting a lot of points. Now with a huge opportunity, 41 times 4. Can he get the identity here to secure 160 points? But Cap jumping into the frame, jumping into the battle. The last water part will decide it. 2 more turns before the finish line. They're side by side. Who will have the most speed into the finish? Exotica goes tight. Will Cap have the speed?
Cap gets it.
Oh my god, Cap wins. Because Exotica dives into the pool. And Cap gets the 4 times.
Oh, but this is going to be such a stacked 5x multiplayer right here.
Oh, you hate to see it though. For an Exotica, unfortunate in the last turn. But the last round here of the Challenger League, step 3, 5 times multiplier is on the board for the winner of this round. We know Link waited for it. We know Otak has been waiting for it. Who will get it though? One more race to decide it. If you fail here, you are out. Revolution with the DNF will not be winning this one. And it is only between 8 players.
It is super close in the top though. Otak going for that outside land as we've seen in the other rounds. It's gonna get a lot of speed here. We see Evon touching the wall. He is not gonna get the multiplier by the looks of it. Link with the triangle strat. As we enter the last dirt part before the identity.
Now into the water part. Different lines coming through. The slide versus the no slide here. Link up in first still, ahead of his 2 French opponents, Energized and Otak, very close. They have so many points to multiply here, both 74 and 66 total. That could be basically qualifying to playoffs if you win this one, but a huge mistake by Link. He will not be winning this one, crashing into the pole. It is Otak versus Energized, the 2-point leaders in this match, going into the last map. In first, followed by Fegli, a little bit out of reach, but what a battle. This could be so many points, Karlberg, for the winner of this 1 versus 1 duel.
This could be insane. As Otak also goes for that wide line once again. We've seen it before. It's gonna catch up a little bit. We see Fegli is behind by 0.3. I think we have to see a mistake from Energize or Otak to for him to get this one. It's between Otak, Energize here as we enter the last section of the 5x multiplier.
He's catching up. He overtakes first and Energizes on the back foot now. 1700s behind into the first water pool. Energize touches. And this could be Otak's step. He's wanted the 5x for so long. Otak 1 turn to go and he will get it.
He's gonna get it. He's gonna get his prize possession here. 74 points multiplied by 5. That is huge.
Wow, and everyone made fun of him last week for waiting and denying the 3x to try to get the 5x, but look how much this pays. 370 points in a single step. That puts him instantly up into second place overall. 120 points, 115 points behind Mime in first. And that is what we were waiting for Otak.
That was what we were waiting for indeed. Otak showing that he is indeed capable of going for that 5x.
And you know, we were getting worried again when he failed the 4 times multiplier round. Thinking like, oh no, is history gonna repeat itself? But great step there from Otak. He is incredibly clutch when it matters in that last round to win. And he, as we said, finally gets his payoff.
What an incredible race. Mime with over 800 points right now.
Yeah, let's take a look at the final standings here. We saw a big step for Quattro getting the 3x. Big step for Cap, who won that 4 times. And it will be Cap up in 4th now, actually. Quattro 5th. Also, we saw, was it Rossi who won that one round where Otak jumped off? I think it was. So Rossi 7th, Soldier 8th, but very close between the top 8 players making it to playoffs. And Wosal in 9th, just 12 points away from that playoff spot. So, that was the Challenger step. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. As you can hear, my voice is a bit sore, but that is why we've been joined by the lovely Karlberg to take us through the step. A great first cast, I think, Karlberg. Something to be proud of for sure. We now have about 50 minutes until the Trackmania Grand League starts. So I was thinking we could just play Cup of the Day. I don't know if you're down, Karlberg, but we could just try to play the Cup of the Day.
I'm down to cool down a little bit.